of the Kansas Soybean Commission.
So Charlene, you said that we're making some oatmeal cherry cookies now.
I love this recipe. I think it's one of my favorite ones of all the ones I've done with oatmeal cookies. It has the dried cherries in, so you're getting those extra nutrients, the antioxidants that make it special and make it nutritious. But it also uses our soy flour blend, so we're getting some good soy protein with it too. What I've done here is I've creamed our half a stick of margarine with 1.5 cups of sugar. Use an electric mixer because that helps you get that. If you want to get some extra benefits from making these cookies, you could whip it in a bowl and just keep mixing it until you got that way.
Arm strength.
That's right.
Yeah,
It'll give you
that.
That's right. But you could use the electric mixer, and again, with children, if you have that older child, then you can teach them how to do that. If you have smaller children, then teach them to measure. Let them dump it in. If you're having a small child, use a bigger bowl than what you would need that helps them get everything in there. And then another tip would be that as you go, have them help clean up because they need to know that it's fun to bake and cook, but you have to clean up too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
How about Mom?
That's right.
Come on.
We're going to add, we have 2 eggs. We're going to add one at a time. And the reason I'm doing that is because then it's easier to mix. Now, because we're on TV and we don't have all the time, we're going to go ahead and add it. But we would add it one at a time, and it'd be easier to mix and get that blended real well. And then you have our molasses. And I love the molasses that we have here. With that, a tip for measuring that would be to spray your container, your measuring cup, with some vegetable spray, which is another soybean product. But when you spread that, do you see how easy that came out? You use the scraper there, but it comes out really easy if you do that. Now we're going to start adding our dry ingredients.
Okay.
And that is our soy flour blend, our baking powder, baking soda there, and you can add about half of it. Yeah, that's great. And then when we get that all mixed in, we're going to add the oatmeal, but you can go ahead and add the rest of it.
I feel so bad. Like, I don't want to.
Yeah, go ahead. Because now if we were at home, again, we would get this mixed real good, but we want to kind of give the idea and show what we're doing here. And you can go ahead and add the rest of it. Very good. Now, this cookie recipe is chewy. Now, there's different kinds of oatmeal cookies that are crisp that you snap into, but if you like the chewy cookie, you'll love this one. Now, we have 1 cup of dried cherries. Now, what I would do at this point, if I was a family, once I got that all mixed up, I would divide that into maybe 3 bowls, depending on how many children or how many family members you have. Oh, and yes, this is the rest of our cinnamon and our salt. Thank you for remembering that.
No, I don't want to forget anything here.
That's right.
Ooh, that could be a doozy.
But then what I would do is if I had 3 bowls here of the cookie mixture, then make it a kind of a designer cookie for your family. Maybe you like raisins.
Yes.
Maybe you like the chocolate chips. And maybe somebody else wants them just plain.
Right.
That way you have 3 different cookies and you make them like your family likes. So what we do now, we'll mix that in really good. And then another tip here is I have our baking sheet that we're going to put these on. Is if you have a child, I would take just a little bit of dough and put it right there. And then use your dipper because that makes it easy for a child to do. And they will like pushing that. And then they know right where to go. That kind of needed to mix it up just a little bit. But that gives them an idea, okay, where do I put that on the sheet? Right. And then if you have it right there, they know exactly how many to do, and they'll get it right and be perfect.
And you always say, Charlene, that by having the kids help in the kitchen, they're so much more apt to want to eat that treat or want to eat that healthy food, even if they're helping with dinner or the baking.
Exactly.
Them having a part of it really kind of, obviously they want to try what they made.
Exactly, and it's so fun because, and as they get older, maybe they start out using a mix.
Yeah.
And then you teach them that, hey, you know, we can use a mix, but then if we make it ourselves, we can make those adjustments. Right. We can make it like what we did here, maybe 3 different kinds of cookies from one recipe. And I love that idea, and I think a lot of times we forget that with cooking, we're using science. You can teach the children the interaction of the ingredients. You know, why are we using flour? Why are we using a baking powder or baking soda? Let them look that up on the internet or find out, you know, why that's important in an ingredient.
Yeah, and it's just some of the best memories too are made in the kitchen like that.
I love that you said that, because
Yeah.
yes, you know, go back to your family and find that special recipe that was important to you when you were growing up, and make sure your children learn that recipe too.
Yeah, Charlene, thank you so much. Again, you always are coming on talking about these soy foods. Once again, why is it important to incorporate soy into our diet?
Well, one of the ingredients that we have in here is the soy flour, and the soy flour includes the soy protein. And the American Heart Association has encouraged everyone to have 25 grams of soy protein every day. And the reason for that is it lowers the risk for heart attack, lowers your cholesterol. But there's so many other reasons. When you get the Soy Food Guide, our information, there's reasons for women, for osteoporosis that it helps. It reduces the risk of cancer for men and women. And then we know that a lot of times there's people with allergies, so there's a lot of benefits, like using the soy milk maybe instead if they're lactose intolerant.
Yeah, that's great, and you can get that Soy Foods Guide. Once again, if you missed it, let's take a look at that information. You got to just call Mary Lou. 877-KS Soybean is the number that you can call, or visit that website, kansassoybeans.org, to get these recipes. If you missed this oatmeal cherry cookies or you missed the pumpkin muffins in the segment before, you can find them on that website. Charlene, we always appreciate you whenever you come. Thanks so much, and we will see you next time. And we'll be right back after the break.